Jackie Chandiru, one of Uganda's popular musicians, also known as Queen of the Nile, is in the new phase of her music career after years of going off the scene. Her journey in the music industry started in 2002 when she participated in a Coca-Cola Pop Star competition alongside Cindy and Lillian, with whom they formed Blue 3 in 2004 before going on solo career years later. At the peak of her career in music, Jackie was faced with mental health challenges that forced her out of the industry for close to 6 years. She had to undergo rehabilitation and treatments for years to fully recover from depression and addiction. While narrating about her situation during the years, Jackie explained that she got addicted to pethidine, a drug used to alleviate back pain that resulted from injuries she sustained previously, coupled with relationship issues.
Somebody who has taken time to research about pethidine, it has got certain side effects that you get the moment you use the drug. First and foremost, you have this euphoric feeling. You just go into a daze, should I say. Number one, the actual physical pain goes, but then you get into this area where you just relax and then you want to sleep. And then when you sleep and you wake up, you feel fully rested. That happened to be one of the side effects of the drug. And putting that aside, I actually suffered from chronic insomnia. So this drug actually gave me the chance to sleep. And I literally slept without any hassle. When you suffer from insomnia, there's some medical personnel and some people who have done it at a level, the fact that I used to work a lot, whenever I was done with work, for some reason, I always remained awake after. And it got to a point where I would go, say, about 4 days without proper sleep. If I sleep for long, within those 4 days, when we put it all together, I probably sleep for 1 hour and a half or 2 hours. But I can go, say, about 3 days without any sleep, with barely any sleep. And the 4th day, however, I can sleep for 12 hours straight. I realized much as pethidine was helping me with the pain, that was one of the other things.
Jackie Chandiru recently made a comeback in the music industry with many songs after years of break that she took from music to recover. Jackie's testimonies and commitment to help the community, especially drug addicts, have won her trust from different organizations, including Rotary Club of Muyenga in Kampala, where she was appointed as mental health ambassador. Jackie is just one of the persons in Uganda who accepted her situation and focused on recovery.
The News Extra, the News Extra on Radio Patches 94.5 FM.
Mental health is the emotional, psychological, and social well-being of a person, which influences how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. This also affects how people handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. A mental health advocate, Daniel Ratibi, has done advocacy on mental health for many years now under his organization, Voice of Restoration, in which he serves as executive director. Daniel explains that people with mental health disorders may not be productive and therefore needs to seek help early.
Now, mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables all of us to realize our abilities, to cope with the stresses of life, to learn and work well, and to contribute to the community. That is mental health. That's why we are advocating for mental health. Reason being, it is only when we are mentally stable, when we are healthy mentally, that we can be able to do all those. We can be able to realize our abilities. We can be able to support our families. Now, talking about this importance of mental health. Mental health, like I said, includes how we behave, how we think, and how we feel, as well as how we communicate with others. So the field of mental health is important for development. People who are not mentally well cannot be productive and may not fulfill their social responsibility, such as attending school, taking care of children, working in their fields, working in their career, at their workplaces. And in any case, if they're not helped, they can be a problem to the family and the community at large. That's why we are struggling every other day to labor to advocate for mental health.
Mental health involves several conditions that affect mood, thinking, and behavior as a result of disorders, including stress, depression, and anxiety, among others. A Lancet Psychiatry correspondence reported that approximately 14 million people in Uganda, out of a population of 43.7 million, were affected by mental illness in 2022, an estimate of 32% of the population. However, many people are not aware about the mental health disorders that they have. It is against this fact that Daniel explains some of the common mental health disorders.
When we talk about mental health challenges, when we're looking at now the disorders or illnesses or things that impact our mental health, that prevents us from achieving our dreams, realizing our abilities and our potentials, failing to work well and failing to communicate well and all that, one of them is a stress disorder. Stress. If we don't manage stress, things fall apart. And many of us, we complain of stress on a daily basis. Because of stress, people have trouble with sleep. People have trouble with appetite. People have trouble because the challenge which is coming through can be due to social, economic, and psychological problems. For example, having no money. That's why everybody is talking about the economy, fights, quarrels at home, land issues, and all this. All these issues bring stress. And if we are not helped, if somebody is not helped to deal with that stress, either in their marriage or in their relationship or in their workplace or in their finances, whatever it is coming from, there will be always a challenge. Number two, looking at depression. Depression is feeling excessively sad most of the time for more time, and this impacts our lifestyle. We lose interest in daily activities that we used to enjoy. We have trouble with sleep. We have low appetite. We have trouble concentrating, feeling of weaknesses, and complaints, over complaints. And all these things affect our work, and because of that, we cannot do much. Now, coming to another thing is the anxiety. Anxiety, we're talking about anxiety in terms of the excessive worry about a problem of daily living. For example, maybe at school or at workplace, and this begins to affect everything. For example, excessive fear of losing control about something, excessive fear about death, excessive fear and anxiety, excessive worry, because you are worried about everything. So this worry drives you crazy, and before you know it, because of anxiety, even your heartbeat is affected. Sometimes you lose breath. Sometimes it becomes very hard to breathe and all that. So all these issues affect us, and before you know it, things begin to fall out of place just because of that. The next one I want to talk about is alcohol and substance use disorders. For us in West Nile, we know it. Most of our disorders in West Nile currently arising from alcohol and substance use disorders. Uncontrollable use of substance, even when it causes physical or social problems, we continue taking it. Then we begin to complain about body pains, the headache, the agitation, shaking when we don't take the substances, fail to complete tasks, and all of that. So these issues affect us. It is a lot. We have bipolar condition. Bipolar condition, this is where somebody has the extreme sadness and extreme happiness. In other words, you will hear people who say we have moody swings, but now this moody swing goes to the extremes. Extreme sadness and extreme happiness.
It is clear that many people choose to remain silent and do not seek help as a result of stigma, although many health facilities have services for responding to mental health disorders. A public health advocate, Shamim Nambasa, also an intern pharmacist at Yumbe Regional Referral Hospital, advised public to consider seeking health services and help early. She also advises on prioritizing self-care as preventive measure.
You find that in most cases, the first thing is how is someone able to identify that actually they are having issues with their mental health. Maybe they are having a mental health disorder, but even the people around this person, how are you able to see that, oh, maybe your partner is going into depression, or you have a relative or a brother, a sister, a friend that is actually experiencing mental health illness or disorders, but you're actually not able to identify it. So the first thing is that people find challenges with identifying these kinds of disorders, and they're quite a big range when we talk about depression. And then you find that we have normally that we shall feel sad about particular circumstances. We are expected as normal people to have emotions, to react to different things, have situations where you're sad, have situations where you're excited, have situations where you worry. But then if this sadness becomes persistent and it's lasting 2 weeks and beyond, and the person has changed, the things that used to be pleasurable to them are no longer pleasurable, they have this constant feeling of guilt, that we don't have to wait for people to have maybe suicidal tendencies or to reach an extent of committing suicide for us to tell that, oh, actually this person needs help, or even you as a person to be more self-aware. I think that is like the biggest point I would make, that that people need to be more self-aware. We need to be aware of our emotions. We need to keep ourselves in check every now and then. If, yes, you're feeling sad, but then what if it is actually going beyond the normal? We need to be more self-aware. We need people to understand these situations, that it is normal for you to worry about something, but then you must tell if you're actually getting into some kind of generalized anxiety disorder. People need to know that if you have been exposed to some trauma, that maybe you're now having some post-traumatic stress disorder, you're experiencing all these kinds of mental health illnesses or disorders, and people should be able to identify them. So that is what I would believe would be the first step to people seeking for help.
Many triggers can cause mental health disorders. These include at workplaces, home, and any other environment. Journalist Aloysius Biamukama, who majors in health reporting, notes that language used while communicating about mental health may also have an impact. He therefore calls for collaboration with different stakeholders to help people with mental health disorders.
We have to make coalitions. If it is to make maybe community-based organizations, I don't know how we can be helped, because I do feel that we have to move around this country highlighting this issue. In this city, you find people moving when they are talking around. You find someone is in a good car, very expensive car, but is really communicating around, and the communicating is one side. It is not effective. What is the reason? How can we get such stories? What is it that we are not doing? Let them tell us. If it is about language, let them tell us. I understand that mental health, when you break it into our local language, it is very hard to report about it. By the way, I live in a Uganda community. When you say someone is mentally ill, they will not understand you in Uganda. Like, it translates that someone is mad. It has a lot of language issues. How can we break it down? I think doctors should help us, the local leaders should help us, such that we report when we are balanced, when we are not really against someone, like when we are inclusive enough. A few of us are trying to bring these issues out, and we want that the population get to know that we are living in a danger zone.
Prevention of mental health disorders involves promoting well-being through stress management, healthy relationships, and self-care. Treatment most times combines therapy such as cognitive behavioral therapy and medication in line with individuals' needs. Early intervention and destigmatization are some of the strategies for effective management and recovery. That concludes this edition of the News Extra. My name is Sabir Musa.